Welcome to the Undrafted Free Agents podcast, the podcast where hitting the reverse hurdle won't get you on the highlight reel, but it will get you on Fail Army. I'm Merp, that's Rich. Week 11.
Yes, we worked it out this time.
Yeah. We had it wrong last week. We were actually in week 10 last week.
No one should be coming here for factual information.
Yeah.
This is just an entertainment podcast.
Could not get the basics right last week. We forgot our equipment. We had the wrong week. I think at some point we started talking about soccer, right?
Yeah, no. We switched to football.
Off-season topic, the name soccer and football.
Yes.
The whole history behind that.
Soccer came first. People don't know that. You taught me that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Ireland, they call it association football.
Right. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
So week 11, just gets better and better, right? Yeah. We had some heavyweight bouts happening. I'm not talking about whatever that was on Friday night.
Tyson versus Paul.
Yeah, no. The stars came out, right? And we got to see Saquon in all his glory early in the week.
Hurts me every time.
Every single time. Yeah. What a fiasco. And
wait, on that note, did you see the clip that's going viral of the Giants Hard Knock episode where the one coach is like, hey, we should keep Barkley, and everyone's like, no, all the data says it's going to go down. Now that guy's like going viral.
I have not seen
that.
Yeah,
I'll send it to you.
The only thing I see on repeat is when they are having Shane is having his conversation with the son about drafting Jaden Daniels.
Yes, right? And the son was right.
Yeah, but to be fair, at that point, like Shane did try during the draft to move up to get Daniel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But foreshadowing for later in the episode, it was really Tommy Cutlets that doomed the Giants to not get Jaden Daniel.
Yeah, as fun as that was.
It
did doom us.
Deja vu.
Yeah, I unfortunately think the Giants are going to go through that again. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah,
but
we'll hit that later.
Come back.
Yeah, and we had, talking about heavyweights, right? Some of the top teams in the NFC meeting. We had, I think, the top team in the NFC making a bold statement, right? Yes. Detroit Lions, and then, let's talk about KC and the Bills. So we lots to talk about today. Yeah. A great episode. We'll get it started though. We'll roll right into first down. We'll have a
new
little
segment out
appetizer here, right? So we're gonna call this First and 10.
Yeah.
Right. Some quick hitters, get us warmed up, get us loosened up. So we've got 10 questions here, and we're just gonna go yes or no with the answers, right? Because there's a lot going on in the NFL, and we want to try and cram as much in as we can.
And I think we can explain ourselves in 10 words or less.
Yeah, just
so you're going to see a lot of counting while we're doing it.
I think I'm going 5 words.
5, okay.
Do you want to start? Or?
I can start. Yeah. Okay. So the first question is, are the Giants the worst team in the NFL? Yes or no?
I'm going to say no. Right, there's arguments this weekend for other teams to be worse. Surprisingly, because the Giants, I think it's recency bias. We didn't get to see them be terrible this weekend. They were pretty terrible the previous weekend
in Germany.
But at the same time, there's issues in one spot. I'm talking too much. That's what we're in 10 words. We're done with that.
I'm going to reply and just say the Jaguars, I think.
You're going to say the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm shocked Peterson still has a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches.
Yeah.
Surprised. All right. Big weekend. Josh Allen for MVP.
Yes. That run is going to be the run where he scored that. It wasn't even a go-ahead touchdown. Right. But to put them up 2 scores is going to be in highlight reels for years to come if they go on and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was special. I've seen better quarterback runs. I've seen better runs out of Josh Allen.
Yes. But, just the way he plows through that last guy in the last 5 yards.
Right.
Incredible.
Yep.
All right, so the next one, will the MVP of the NFL not be a quarterback? Yes or no?
No, unfortunately. I'll say if I were to pick an MVP right now, it would not be a quarterback. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a quarterback. It always is.
It always is, yeah.
And there are too many good quarterbacks.
They should just make two separate awards.
They should.
Like in baseball, it's NL and AL MVP,
Right.
best QB, and non-QB MVP. You can't tease us, by the way. Who would be your MVP?
Right now, Saquon.
Saquon, yeah.
I mean, he's carrying that
Hurts.
team. That team's on top of their division. Yeah. Here's one. This is a doozy.
Yes.
Will KC three-peat?
No.
Ooh, hot take.
Okay. It is a hot take. As of, I think, Monday, for the first time in their entire history as a franchise, the Detroit Lions are the Super Bowl favorites.
Oh my
According to
god.
Vegas. I think that's more than 10 words, but that in of itself is an amazing fact.
Right. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, so I think it's trending towards the Lions, but Mahomes, you just never know.
Yeah. My answer for that is yes.
Yes, you think? So?
I do.
Yeah.
I still believe.
The script. Have you seen the script?
I saw, snippets of it.
Okay.
I read the back page.
All right. Is there a Taylor Swift album that's going to be released soon? Because I feel like that will just interweave itself really nice with the Super Bowl.
No. But she will be starring in and recording the official soundtrack for a new MCU movie about the X-Men Dazzler.
Oh,
That's really nerdy stuff, I guess.
okay. Yes.
Not true. None of that's not true.
All right.
Don't believe any of that.
Okay. Can I ask the next one?
You
Is that-
are supposed to because I asked you.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's the exact production value we're going for. Lose track. All right. Will a receiver top 3,000 receiving yards this season?
Wait, it was supposed to be 2,000.
Oh, 2,000. That's even easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
3,000 would have been crazy.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes? Okay.
I mean, if a receiver can get 264 yards in one game
yes.
with 7 games to go, yeah, these numbers are bonkers right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, I believe
Who's it going to be?
Jefferson.
Yeah. I saw a crazy stat. I think he was, I'll remember the stat later, but I think he was like the youngest to cross. Oh, no, he was the quickest to get over 1,000 yards this season. That was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if it's Jamar Chase, though, because I think that the Bengals will be throwing the ball more in games than the Vikings will.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, they just seem to always have to be playing from behind.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. And you got Joe Burrow back there. Why not just like
yeah.
trust in Joe? Cool
Right.
Joe.
I want to say that team needs some defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Desperately.
Let's see. Have Henry and Barkley flip this script on what we're saying about running backs. Can we come back to a running back era of football?
Yes, and I think you're going to see the average age of the running back increase a little bit. I think they always talk about the data, but that data is old.
Right.
You know, you're going to see that data move up, and I think you're going to see running backs last longer. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see that, and then their production in college just dip a little bit. Have you ever heard of college legs?
No.
With running backs, yeah. So apparently, like college players right out of college, they have like quote unquote college legs. So nice fresh legs. They don't have all these miles on them, which is what was supposed to happen with Barkley and Henry.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you see their numbers dip in college, just so they set themselves up really well for the NFL.
Yeah, running games are so dynamic these days. I think offensive coordinators are very creative, and everybody in the league is running back by committee. You know, it's not when when I used to watch football in the 90s, you had your
Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah, your bell horses. You had your Emmitt Smiths and those guys. They're just like pound and pound and pound. They were built different, but Yeah. So, Derrick Henry, he'll have a few runs in the first half and then grind the second half and pop it.
Yeah.
Right. Same with Saquon. It still is weird to me to see players immediately after a big play every single time tap themselves out. Watching football the old days, you never left the field.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you with that. I think
when everyone zigs, you zag. The league is so heavy towards the pass now,
right,
that one team is just going to figure out like, oh, if we run the ball this way or like this committee with these stars, there's like defenses aren't going to be ready for it.
Yeah, and the X's and O's. We don't talk a lot about X's and O's, but we know the X's and O's. If you look at base packages defenses on the field nowadays, the majority of the time, over 70% of the time, teams are in sub packages. They're in nickel, right? They've got a nickel back on the field just because of the formulation of offenses. And so, it makes sense that these running backs who are now facing smaller players, who are facing defensive backs, are able to get more yardage, right? Because the defense is spread out more. More of it's in the back end.
Not a coincidence also that Army football is 9-0, and they traditionally run the ball only. Right. So you're seeing that trend in college football where all these teams are passing and they don't know what to do with Army.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
That's you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll get this down the second time.
By the last question.
Are the Lions the best team in the NFL right now?
The Lions are the best team in the NFL right now. Yes. They beat the bad teams bad. They beat the good teams too.
Yes.
That's the marker. You have confidence that they're going to pull it out. They're going to get it in the end, in the middle, or the beginning.
Yeah.
They're a complete team.
All right. But it just seems like there's always that one game they kind of mess up.
And
just always seems like that, right?
You just have to hope it's not in the playoffs.
Yes.
Because at this point, 9-1, they're fine.
Can you imagine the ratings that the Super Bowl would have if it was the Buffalo Bills versus the Detroit Lions? Two passionate fan bases who just haven't won anything.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So we'll come back to running backs.
Yes.
We mentioned Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. We're forgetting someone, right? We've got the Niners. Who knows what's going to happen with them? However, they do at least get CMC back. Is CMC enough to get the Niners to crawl back to the top of the NFC West?
Yes, 100%. Hopefully he's healthy and you don't know what percent he's going to come back at. But it's going to do two things. One, he's the best player in football besides Mahomes. So it's going to be another weapon on offense. And also what's going to help is when Brock Purdy does his best, it's when the team doesn't have to rely on him to do everything. So having another weapon where you can just hand the ball off, get those couple yards, so now the third downs are really short, you're not putting a ton of pressure on Brock Purdy. I think it's going to really help. And also that division, I know the Niners, I think they're in fourth place right now, but they're tied for second for 5-5. So
they're all 5-5.
I feel really bad because the Niners are going to sneak in with maybe a 7 seed if they don't win the division, and they're just going to pair up with whoever finishes second in the NFC.
Yeah.
And that team's going to have a huge matchup problem.
Yeah. I disagree, actually, because of just the amount of injuries they're sustaining. They're snake bit this season, and we've all had seasons like that where our team just gets one bad injury after another.
Yeah.
It's you go.
Yes, it is. I was ready for that.
You're
one. I want on the record that I was ready for that. So, bit of a comeback year for the Chargers, eh?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
The rebuild.
Yes.
Suddenly not a rebuild.
Yeah. We should dive into what the elements of a quick rebuild are.
Right.
Because usually it's a good rookie quarterback, a great head coach, and just turns everything around. Maybe that was just it. That was it.
Yeah.
But Speaking of the Chargers, is Justin Herbert a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
Yes, he is. Partly because he always was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I from the start believed in his ability and his talent. I think he was saddled with poor coaching, and that's changing now. And
Yes.
you can see that team is a different team that's been the same team. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because
And that comes down to coaching.
Yeah, the players were not the factor that that
Yeah.
changed. But all of a sudden they've got top 3 defense
Mm-hmm.
and a play action offense, which a big arm quarterback like Herbert, it's a dream. So yeah,
Yeah. Oregon's doing something really good with quarterbacks these days now.
are they?
Last couple quarterbacks have done really well. Bo Nix looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bo Nix.
Oh my gosh.
We'll just forget about Marcus Mariota. Looked really good in college.
Yeah.
But he's still bouncing around. He's on the Commanders, right? Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. That sums up his career.
Yeah.
I said the team, and you're like, all right? Yeah. All right.
Oh, you get the last.
I get the last one, which
right?
makes sense because it's about my boy.
Right. It's it's another Tuesday, so it's another mention. Will Flacco get a NFL start next season?
Yes. Okay. I think he's shown enough that every team who's looking for that 1B quarterback should look at Flacco. I don't know if the Colts are going to keep him. I don't know why you let him walk out the door. I don't think you do. Like, he's not making a ton of money, and he's a great, reliable quarterback where he just picks up that offense so quickly. You can plug him in. He's going to win you some games.
Right.
Where a lot of backup quarterbacks in the NFL don't do that necessarily.
Yeah.
So, yes. I will even go as far as say he's going to start games this season, too. I think Richardson's going to get hurt again. Yeah. The way he runs.
Watching that touchdown run, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, no.
You know, and like in my mind, I'm also thinking, like, oh, not your throwing shoulder.
Yes, yeah. I know the Mannins have a passing academy. Have they ever thought about the slide in or how to take a safe sack academy?
I know. I remember Eli being masterful at that.
Mm-hmm.
They would just go down.
Yeah. It's an acquired skill that's hard to do.
Yeah. All right. So that was 1st and 10. It was not as quick as I thought it would be.
It never is. Yeah.
But it's our first time around.
Yeah.
I think we'll rattle it off next time we get to 1st and 10, whenever that is down the line. But we're going to go to 2nd down now. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go over our Clash of the Titans, although the Titans are not involved. A matchup everyone wanted to see, which they didn't flex into a primetime game.
What were they thinking?
I don't know.
Who was in charge?
Well, we got a really good primetime game anyway.
Yeah, that is true. But who in their right mind wouldn't flex this to Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, seriously. We're talking about Kansas City versus Buffalo Bills. We knew it would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a good one?
I think so. It was back and forth, a bunch of lead changes, and it's always a sign of a good football game when you can point to a play late in the fourth quarter and just say, okay, that won them the game.
Right.
It was still up in the air. That interception that Buffalo had to end the game essentially was still an amazing interception. I thought it was an amazing game.
Yeah.
How about you?
I thought it was a good game. The scoring was a little lower than you would think, because I think we're thinking of past iterations.
Are you thinking of the 2018 Rams versus Chiefs, right?
Right.
Yeah, that game will just live on in not infamy, but just is one of the greatest NFL games of all time.
Right. But yeah, it was a good game, and you can see these teams kind of preparing to make their runs.
Yeah.
Now. Buffalo looks like they've got the right pieces now.
And it was supposed to be a rebuild in year. They did a rebuild real fast.
Yeah. And that's what happens when you hit the draft right. I love Keon Coleman. He needs to be more consistent, but highly entertaining individual and really great on the field. They make the move for Cooper. Haven't really paid a lot of dividends then, but I'm sure
No,
having
yeah,
that
had
veteran
some
presence.
Pretty clutch catches,
Yeah.
crucial plays. There's an old saying in college football: the best teams, the Alabama, Ohio States, LSU, Notre Dame's, they don't rebuild, they reload.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that with Buffalo, where if you have the right GM, the right coach, the right front office, you can do that. You can just reload.
Right.
And just because they were supposed to have a year where everything was down, but they were building towards a year or two ahead.
Right.
And now they're ahead of that pace, which is just incredible.
Yeah. I think the biggest factor, though, is finally settling or maturing Josh Allen.
Yes. Yeah.
And, yeah, you want to see him become older, prime Steve McNair. And not, I'm trying
Not
to
Josh
think
Allen.
Not Josh Allen.
He used to have 1 or 2 plays a game. The best analogy I heard was it was like you just press all the buttons on a controller during Madden, and he would just do crazy stuff. Like he'd run past the line of scrimmage and then try to throw it,
Right.
or he would run for it and dive for it 8 yards short. He really has matured and not had those plays this year,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
why
Taking
he
care
is
of the ball.
MVP front runner now.
Right. And still making spectacular plays. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you pick him over Jared Goff? Since you brought up MVP?
Yes.
Yes.
I think if you take Josh Allen off the Bills, they're a sub 500 team. If you take Goff off the Lions, they have enough weapons that if you get Joe Flacco on that team, they could still be, I would say, leading that division.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable saying that. Who is the backup Lions? We should look that up.
We
Curious.
should look that up.
Maybe while he set up the next down.
Yeah.
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 I'll look it up.
And as far as the Chiefs are concerned, I'm not too concerned, not too worried about them. I think we have to change our expectations for what this team is, how it's going to perform.
Yeah.
They are a scrappy team, right? And that's who they are. They're not a high-flying, explosive team. They're a team that's going to rely on their defense. They actually, are good at small chunk plays, short passing, and running the ball. And, sometimes you hit a game where things don't work out.
I mean, it's hard to, point out any flaws with the Chiefs. They're still 9-1.
They're still 9-1.
Yes. They're going to win that division. They're probably going to get the bye. And we'll just see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Gosh, I hope they meet up again.
Oh, yeah.
That would be incredible.
That would. And then, how about a preference? Would you prefer a Detroit-Buffalo Super Bowl or a Detroit-Kansas City
Oh,
Super
no,
Bowl?
definitely Detroit-Buffalo.
Definitely.
Yeah, because then at least do you feel this as a Giants fan where we're out of it so soon that you kind of start rooting for another team?
Yes.
I would love if Buffalo or Detroit won. Really passionate fans. I've been to Buffalo before. I have friends in Buffalo. Seeing them happy would be awesome. I haven't been to Detroit, but I'm sure they're very nice too.
Yeah.
And I do have an update on the
Backup.
Hendon Hooker, which
Hendon
is
Hooker. Oh,
from the Tennessee Volunteers fame, if you remember.
And Detroit was not his. He was not
No.
drafted by Detroit.
Second year, so I have to check where he was drafted, but yeah.
I remember his name.
He's bounced around a couple times.
Yeah.
He's no Josh Johnson, which I just love. That's a great group costume. Just wear all of his jerseys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the picture at the what was it? The University of Oklahoma football game, where there were 4 guys going to the game, and they all had a different Baker Mayfield jersey on from a different NFL team. Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. Love me some Mayfield. We'll see him.
Yeah, we'll see him soon.
Facing the Giants. Yeah.
He's about to pad those stats.
Third down. Here we go. Moving right along.
Speaking of jerseys.
Yeah.
Great segue.
Yeah. And with the old out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah, let's
We'll see. Right. This is so we thought we're seeing so many cool versions of jerseys, some throwback jerseys, some brand new logos, and so we wanted to pick just a few teams. We want to do this, kind of compact. We didn't get it done with 1st and 10, but and decide, do we like the older ones or the newer ones?
Right? All right, let's start. So we're going to start off with Houston, the newest NFL franchise.
And I was saying we should do the triple with this one.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So we'll start with Houston. I'm going to pick one of these new jerseys because they actually have 2 new jersey and helmet combos. So we're going to go with that. They actually have new uniforms this year in totality. So what do you think? Do you want to do – I was going to do the red ones.
The red ones?
Horns, yeah. Which I
I'm going to go through like the whole gamut of them.
Go for it.
Right? Because we're not just talking about those new ones. And
I got you, yeah.
2 years ago. But I know they're not the same franchise.
Yes.
But the Houston Oilers uniforms too. And I'm going to go with the powder blue, baby blue Houston Oilers uniforms.
Some of the most beautiful
Yeah.
NFL uniforms and helmets of all time. So for those of you who don't know, the Houston Oilers years and years ago moved to Tennessee, became the Tennessee Titans. And then a couple of years later, Houston got a new NFL franchise, became the Houston Texans. But just last year, the Tennessee Titans decided that they were going to wear the Houston Oilers jerseys in a complete insult to the city of Houston and those fans. Not only did they steal their team, but then they stole the best uniforms in the NFL. So you're voting for those uniforms?
I am.
All right.
And I'm a sucker for a team name and logo that's like fitting.
Yes.
Like Houston Oilers. Oh,
yeah.
What a great.
Yeah. Not a big fan of the LA Lakers, eh?
Gosh.
Yeah.
So we bring it up like every week.
Yeah. So those are amazing.
Yeah.
But to play devil's advocate, I'm going to go with the new red uniforms.
The new. Okay.
Yeah. So shiny helmets. They have the horns on the side, which I absolutely love. I love when helmets actually break away from the team's like logo and just go with like the theme. Like I hate the Eagles. I want that on the record. But their wing helmets are actually really cool.
The wing helmets.
Horn helmets for the Vikings are awesome. Like I love that style where it's not just your logo slapped on the side of a helmet.
Right. Actually, this whole conversation started because of helmets.
Yeah.
Because I was texting during the Chargers game, saying how cool it was. These helmets that the Chargers have now that have the numbers on.
Yes. Yeah. I'm also a big fan. You don't see it in the NFL except for the Commanders do it in one of their alternative helmets, but you see it, ironically, Dartmouth. Their logo is actually in the front of the helmet, so the opponent sees it, but not the TV, which I was fun little quirk.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're ditching the Longhorn logo from the Houston Texans, sounds like, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's kind of never really loved that logo, to be honest.
No.
Never really caught on. It's like, it's a weird thing. It's not like modern and it's not historic. It's kind of there.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird name for a team.
Oh, the Texans?
Yeah.
It's
come up with something, right?
It's also weird. It's like the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Like, you almost would give them respect if it was the Texas Texans.
Right.
Like, just own it.
Go all the way. Go big. You're in Texas. Go big.
Speaking of big, let's move on to the Giants. Wow, you like that segue?
Oh my gosh.
Pretty smooth.
That was
really smooth.
Some transition.
Yes. This
is a team with a long history of uniforms. A lot of different uniforms. I have my personal favorite. But we'll point out that the Giants brought back throwback uniforms this year. Much maligned.
Yes.
The internet
I own it. I own one.
/hated it.
Yeah, I own one.
Can you just describe it?
Yes. So the best way to describe it is if you've ever seen hockey, if you've ever seen the Montreal Canadiens uniform, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The same blue, the same red, the same white, the same pattern. So it is a red jersey with a blue stripe across the middle, and 2 white stripes on top and bottom of that, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
They also, we'll give them credit, they do have the wind helmet, made famous
yeah.
by the University of Michigan. But fun fact, they weren't the first school to do it. Michigan State was actually the first school with the wind helmet.
Like the current Spartan?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, a bunch of schools actually have done it. Ohio State did it. Delaware does it now. Princeton. Most teams have just abandoned it, but Michigan made it famous.
I feel like every NFL team has a version of that too.
Yes,
right?
yeah. The Eagles have something similar, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have the wing. It just has the bars. Actually, no, it does have the wing. Something in Chicago Bears has the 3 stripes.
Yes,
Yes. Cool. helmet.
Which the Bears I feel like bring that out most frequently.
Yeah, they
compared to
at
other
least
teams.
once a year. At least
Yeah.
once a year.
We should have put them on our list because that's a good looking.
That is
For some reason, it looks good on the Bears.
not so great with the Giants. So,
Yeah.
which helmet uniform combo are you going to go with the Giants?
Oh, I became a Giants fan in the '80s. So that '86 team with the Giants, like
in the font.
yeah, and that font with the blue, the red piping around the sleeves.
They look so great with it, and I actually like when they because the blue from the jersey is lighter than the helmet, so it's a dark blue helmet, navy blue helmet, but then like a royal blue jersey. It looks really really good on the field. The play not so much, but that color combo looks pretty great.
My least favorite Giants uniform is like the gray pants and blue.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Tiki Barber. I feel like all his highlights are in that uniform.
Right, exactly.
What are your thoughts about the old Eli Manning red jersey? Remember they had that for 2-3 years?
I don't like it.
No?
Too much red.
Too much red?
Too solid.
Too solid.
Right. Again, not on our list, but I just thought of it now. One of the uniforms that I really like was the 2010's Buffalo Bills. I don't know if you can imagine it. The jersey had like a blue jersey, but there were red panels on the side.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the NFL doesn't do that. Like, doesn't have a lot of different mixed colors.
No, they don't. No.
The jerseys are pretty solid,
Yeah.
but they had like panels that were different colors, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah. What Buffalo Bills one of the best jersey combos in the league.
Yeah.
And actually, you said 2010. It was around 2010. They had the World Junior Hockey Tournament, and they had an outdoor game between Team USA and Team Canada. And it was in Buffalo, and the Team USA wore Buffalo Bill themed hockey jerseys, and it looked amazing.
Whoa.
Amazing. I'll show you offline, but like one of the coolest jerseys ever.
Yeah, you guys Google it at home.
Yeah. All right, last one.
Last one.
Most recent, we just saw this. I saw this when I was in Toronto, Canada. We're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. So they have their classic black helmets with the profile of a raven and for some random reason a giant V on its head. And then they have these new helmets that actually take, if you remember when they first came out, they had a logo where the raven was looking right at you, so it's not in profile, it's looking at you. If I can look at the camera, yeah. With matte blue purple. Okay.
I'm 100% behind the matte helmet.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I have to look back at the pictures. Did they go full purple? Why would you not go full purple?
They were like
helmet, jersey, and pants, right?
At some point, you're saying?
Like
in their history?
Like that game.
That game, no, they were like black. It was like dark.
Why did they not?
Actually,
purple rain it.
They have like purple versions, and I feel like some versions of the purple they use is like too purple. It's like grimace.
Yeah, a little bit. I know exactly.
I like the darker. I don't like it when every team is like trying to be menacing and dark, but if you got to have some teams, you got to have the Ravens with that.
Have you ever seen the Buffalo? So you ever see? So we'll talk about Baltimore first. Have you ever seen the camo that the Baltimore Ravens fans wear? It's really cool. It's camo, but it's purple, white, gray, and black. Oh. And they'll wear, like, you'll see them wear that pants. Like, you ever see the Buffalo Bills? They wear that I forget what it's called, but it's like a zebra print.
The Zubaz?
Yes, yeah. Why are those not helmets or like jerseys of some sort? Like,
that's crazy because
Like, just do like a fan themed jersey.
I wonder if someone thought that out, or if it's like subconscious. Like when Zubaz were hot,
Yeah,
the Bills were hot. They went to those 4 Super Bowls.
there's a correlation there.
Yeah, there must be. Whether
gotta
it's
be.
purposeful or subconscious, something right is happening.
Yes.
there.
Yeah, so I made millions of dollars for both those teams.
Yeah.
Just make those uniforms and people will buy them.
Yeah. So like the Ravens had this like dark, but it's not like black. For some reason, maybe it is, but if you look at like the Steelers jerseys, that's like a black.
Yeah, I got you.
There's some tinting that makes the Ravens colors like better. I don't
It's a
know.
little shiny.
Right? Is
Yeah,
that what it
a little
is?
bit.
I don't know.
I'm going to vote for the purples as well.
You gonna vote for
Rain.
purples?
Yeah, those were amazing. And usually, like, it's hard to get the internet to agree on something. And
Yeah.
I think the internet agreed, like, those purple uniforms were awesome.
Uh-huh. All right.
They all agreed the Giants' uniforms were terrible, so.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we all do.
Speaking of the Giants, boom,
Speaking of the Giants,
3 for 3.
Wow,
Terrific transitions.
it's like the the cube transition on slideshows.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
who uses that? Must be you. Dimes for cutlets. That's what I named it.
That's
right?
awesome.
You get the transitions. I get the
The
names
names.
here. Oh, we lost our camera.
Yeah.
That's okay. You don't need to see us.
Yeah,
Um,
it's probably better that way.
yeah, we didn't have a 4th down last time because you had just come back from Canada,
Yes.
so I didn't set it up. That's what happened.
Congratulations to the Toronto Argonauts.
They
CFL
won?
champions. Yes. My
Sweet.
championship hat is on its way.
Yeah. So we've got some quarterback action. The quarterback room in New York Giants is topsy-turvy right now, and it is so interesting. Right, we'll try to wrap it up in 5 minutes, but there's like a lot going on here,
Yeah.
right?
So let's set the stage.
Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
going into the season, it was pretty well defined. It was Jones, Locke, and DeVito.
Right.
QB1, 2, and 3. Okay. So the Giants did announce this week that Daniel Jones had been demoted to QB3. So I'll give a little insight into that.
Yeah.
So besides not stellar play, there's one interesting fact that you can point to about why the Giants may not want to play Jones the rest of the season. So Daniel Jones, of course, has that controversial contract now where he's making $40 million a year. And the Giants could get out of that contract this summer and move on to another quarterback. What they can't do, though, is if Daniel Jones plays and gets injured, it kicks in a stipulation in the contract where he gets another guaranteed year where they have to pay him and it counts against the cap. So he essentially would have to be a Giant next year. Okay?
Right.
So you might be saying to yourself, oh, well, that makes sense. So Jones goes to 3, and then everyone just moves up one spot. So Drew Lock is now the starting quarterback for the Giants. But Merp, why is that not the case?
They're going with Tommy DeVito,
Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets, who was the 3rd string emergency quarterback, mostly because of similar financial considerations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, they gave Locke a $5 million contract, not unheard of, for a backup.
Yeah.
Although I still think it's a fumble because I did believe Tommy DeVito earned the right
Yeah.
to be the backup.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't.
Yeah,
They wasted $5 million they could have used on maybe a running back.
Do they have anyone in the building that maybe is an MVP candidate
Yeah,
right now
maybe.
for a different in-rival team?
Right. But, you
Division
know,
team?
you've got Locke on the roster now. Presumably, he's outplayed Tommy DeVito in practices to be the second quarterback. So why not elevate him to first string? Well, there are incentives in Drew Lock's contract that say if he plays X number of snaps,
Yes.
right, and there's like a whole gamut of snaps, he earns more and more and more, right, up to an extra $2 million against the cap. But also he has additional incentives for completions, and if he were to start playing games now, he theoretically could reach those milestones in completions and playing time. So
Where was this money saving thought
right.
this off season?
So they brought this guy in right? They paid him some money,
Yeah.
right? It's not unheard of for a backup, but still counts. When they had Tommy DeVito in the building, whose contract was like under $1 million, right? Just kind of a rookie contract.
$825.
Yeah.
I believe is correct. 825.
And I believe, I mean, he totally played us out of high draft pick.
Yeah. Please don't do that again. Just make the games fun.
It's just fumble after fumble by this general managing group, right? So now Locke's in the freezer with Daniel Jones, and we're getting Tommy DeVito, who I believed should have had a chance all along. I mean, Tommy DeVito's not a star quarterback, but for a backup quarterback, he was serviceable. Yeah, right. The kid was ready to go. The kid performed well, and to be honest, I'm excited to see him this coming weekend. And I wish he wasn't part of this whole mess that the Giants have made in the quarterback room.
And it's so wild. Like, what essentially happened was Drew Lock priced himself out of an NFL starting job,
which is crazy.
This is crazy. Like, through no fault of his own. And it begs the question, like, why have these incentives in your contract?
Right.
If teams are just going to avoid you you getting those. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's going to talk to his agent after this and say, no, the next stop, let's
get
cool it with the
guaranteed
incentives.
Money. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild when you think about it.
Yeah, and now my wonder is, like, imagine you are either Daniel Jones or Drew Lock. Like, what is your level of disgruntlement right now?
And you got to wonder, too, does this make the Giants a less desirable landing spot for these free agent quarterbacks now that they completely muffed this situation?
Yeah. Or maybe it depends on whether Belichick's the coach or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that. Come home, Bill. Come home, Bill.
Come home.
Or Dion.
Or Dion, yeah.
Dion with your amazing quarterback son.
Yeah. So, over-under of 2 wins for Tommy DeVito.
Okay, so
you're going to take the over?
They have like
2 wins.
No. They have 2 wins. They have
7 games.
7 games. Oh, I'm going to push. I'm going to say 2.
You're going to say 2.
I'm going to say 2, and it's going to be heartbreaking in the fact that, like, we're going to have the number 1 overall pick, and then DeVito's going to win a meaningless game in December, and we're going to drop to like 6 in the draft order and just miss out on all the quarterbacks.
I'm gonna go with 3. I'm gonna go with 3 wins. Right, I think they're good enough.
We're just gonna be in the 10.
And we're gonna end up taking like the second best tackle in the draft. We'll just collect tackles.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just hold on, waiting for Arch.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and who knows next year if any of these quarterbacks will still be in the building. It would be a shame to see Tommy DeVito go. I think it's time for Daniel Jones to get a fresh start. Mm-hmm. Nobody thinks about Drew Lock. Yeah. So,
Canada's awesome, guys. Just try the CFL. It's
this
fun.
audition for Tommy DeVito, I'd like him to hit it so he can earn his solidified spot as a backup.
Yeah.
Or as the transition quarterback to whoever they have coming down the pike. Right.
Be pretty wild if the traditional quarterback is making well under $1 million. But yeah, that's the case. That's the case.
Has that happened? Is there a team out there that has gone to the Super Bowl?
Are you talking about the Niners?
Oh, I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was a pretty efficient, great show.
Yeah. All right. So that was episode 8. And we'll be back at you guys after week 12 action, which includes Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
So we'll get this up out onto the waves, and hope you guys enjoy it and come back for more.
Yeah.
Then we can prep everyone for Thanksgiving action too.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah.
We're already there. All right. Thanks for listening. You guys have a great week. See you after week 12.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.